That's not copywritten, is it?
I don't know, probably. It's all right.
Whatever.
Everything's copywritten now. All right, so we're live. Okay. All right, ready, guys? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to BatYard's Finest, bringing you the finest of Batman, Superman, and more to pop culture. I am Josh, as always, from BatYard Productions, and here we have two co-hosts with me today. This is our second time with all three of us with the fantastic trio. I guess we'll go in order. You, sir, right next to me, you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Connor. Flattered to be here, guys.
And I'm Matt, and you guys keep seeing me every time we're on.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time coming. So today we are discussing two properties. I think before we get into that, is there anything we'd like to announce or discuss, BS kind of stuff, before we get into it? I have a few things, but I'll let you guys chime in first if you got anything.
Anyone see the trailer for Disney's Harley Quinn? I mean Cruella. Sorry,
Disney?
that was what the trailer.
Disney, but
I'm sorry.
I'm very confused. Okay, no, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen the trailer, but I could understand the confusion because I've been seeing like fan arts taking Emma Stone's face and turning her into Harley Quinn for some reason. I haven't seen the trailer. I don't
that's
know
what it looks like.
I mean, I guess they edit it, they Photoshop it enough where it looks like Harley Quinn, but I can't say anything about the trailer.
Is it like a sequel? Not a sequel,
no,
a prequel of
it's a prequel. It's an origin story. Yeah, an origin story for Cruella DeVille.
So,
God. I was curious
why
about
he
that.
wants to kill dogs, why she wants to
I know, right? Like,
so that's really
be a tough one to come over to.
Got it.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
You know there's gonna be a lot of hate in that movie. Right?
Yeah, I was very curious about that because I was like, why don't they pick like a really old, decrepit actress or actor, to portray Cruella DeVille? But if it's a prequel, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
but
it's a young.
I want Cruella to look like a freaking witch. I don't want her to look like Emma Stone. I want her to look really decrepit and just ugly and terrible.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to like her. You don't want to sympathize with like the millionaire fashion mogul who wants to start a new line by butchering puppies.
Yeah,
that's what that movie was about.
Oh, they have the best kind of fur, man. They're soft.
So
soft.
It seems like it's going to be like Maleficent, where it's going to be like a sympathetic villain, which is fine, but I don't know. Do it with a different character.
Cruella's iconic and all, but she's not exactly like a low-key kind of character that you can he'll come around.
Oh, yeah, she's very over the top.
She is.
Yeah, so I don't know. Whatever. I don't really care. It's fine.
Yeah, I still need to see
I really just wanted to make the Harley Quinn joke first.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you made it, so I was confused for a second. So I applaud you.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? There's one thing. Batman, Superman related news. They're coming out with a comic book series. With a reamp of Batman 1989. With Michael Keaton's Batman, kind of continuing that timeline. And also with Christopher Reeves' 78 Superman. So they're continuing that timeline too. So I guess I'll be
excited about that.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for that. I am very curious for that. Because that's always like something I wanted to see in the comic books, but they've never really done. So I'd be very curious how they continue that. I hope they dive more into like the rogues and stuff. But with the Michael Keaton one, I hope they ignore the Val Kilmer stuff, all that, and like actually show.
Nope, they're not.
Not Batman Forever, Josh.
Yeah, the worst Batman. But I hope they like continue the Harvey Dent storyline with what's his name?
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams, yes, with Lando Calrissian. I hope they continue that. Other than that, there's not really much else I want to say. I'm just, pretty hyped to read it. Wait, go ahead, Matt.
Well, have you seen the new trailer for the Justice League movie?
Oh yeah, the final trailer for the Snyder Cut.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, go ahead, take it away.
New trailer for an old movie.
Yeah, the Joker's in it.
The Joker's in it. It's just weird.
A dream, Batman, or whatever he said.
Yeah, it's like he's in the dream sequence that's set up in Batman versus Superman, and you see Jared Leto's Joker, everyone's favorite Joker, in the trailer, and that got me super hyped. I was like, yeah, Jared Leto, my favorite.
No, I'm not excited to see him at all coming back to be the Joker, but everyone's like still saying we should give him a try again because all of his shots were all kicked out of the last movie. But like a lot of the shots that they used look like they're the main source for him to be in the movie, so he sucked in them. So why do I actually care about the other ones that got cut?
No, exactly. Yeah, his time has passed, and when his time was here, we were already sour on it. It didn't work. Yeah. It didn't work. Stop trying to make that happen.
Yeah. Wait, go ahead.
Well, I watched like a breakdown video of the trailer, and the guy that was breaking down said, "Can you listen to his voice?" And when you play the audio, it sounds like he's like having troubles like talking. Like he has a lisp.
Jared,
and it sounds like and he's missing because he has a metal grill for teeth. Because they go on when Batman broke his teeth.
He can't fucking talk with it.
No. He's saying that he may have lost his fucking teeth again. So he can't fucking pronounce words when he talks with his teeth.
What?
That's an interesting theory. I have to listen to it again. I only seen it like one time.
Because he's not like he supposedly this is in like 5 years into the future that dream sequence.
Oh, like you mean in the movie he got he lost his teeth. I thought you meant like Jared Leto misplaced his props.
He's got money to buy new fucking
things. I was going to say, this is a theater camp. You have prop people, right?
Yeah, that's part of the continuity, I think. He got that grill because Batman knocked his teeth out of his face. I never. This might be a little controversial with Jared Leto's Joker. I don't hate it. It wasn't really on screen enough with Suicide Squad for me to really form an opinion on his Joker because he was like only in 10 minutes of the movie.
Totally.
But what he decided to do, I wasn't really that much of a fan of it, but it wasn't on screen enough for me to really form a whole opinion on it. So I was just kind of indifferent about it.
Yeah,
that's very generous of you.
Yeah.
When I saw him on screen, it felt like they didn't execute him well enough. Or present him well, and including there's supposedly a bunch of footage that was deleted out of the movie that was showing him off well
because it was supposed to set up his Joker movie, or whatever.
Well,
and then I think he was fighting against the Joaquin Phoenix solo Joker movie. I think he was fighting really hard.
And the internet sank their claws into Jared Leto's Joker, and so they turned around and said, "Okay, maybe this one." And it was, all right, it was fine.
I know I said this before in a previous podcast. I'm not really looking forward to the Snyder Cut. I'm more morbidly curious to what it is. I don't think it's
I'm right there with you. I'm in that
great.
camp.
I'm just curious to what we're gonna get. I'm expecting a slightly better film than the first Justice League with Joss Whedon. His
Joss
version,
Wheaties.
with his he had his pictures on his Wheaties box. I don't know where I'm going with that, but
it was funny.
Thanks, but I I think it'll be slightly better, but I don't think it's going to be a great film.
No.
I know we
never going to fix anything.
There's a shot of Darkseid in that video in the trailer, and I didn't want Darkseid to be shown yet. I don't want him to be in Justice League yet. I want him to be an end credit thing, be revealed or shown up at the end of the movie you fucking failed.
I guess, but DC so far has done a pretty good job of avoiding those cliches, only because, by right of proxy, Marvel has basically copywritten all those, writing moves, and they're trying as much as they can to separate themselves from that property.
Well, it's just I want you to like mention Darkseid. Don't show me him yet.
Yeah, no, the best we got was the bell ringing from the end of EVS or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the fucking.
It can't be
Lex Luthor
unrung.
thing.
Who's ever heard of unringing a bell?
Oh, that was terrible.
What does that mean?
That Lex, yeah. You know what? The more we talk about these movies, the more I'm just like, this is a dumpster fire. So, you know what? We have a lot to go through. We'll talk about the Snyder Cut when it actually comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. We have a lot of content to get through.
Yes.
So Connor, since this was your, this was your choice for the content. You recommended WandaVision to me. Do you want to take the reins on the synopsis on what the show is?
Sure. So WandaVision is a series that's being created by Disney Plus right now, streamed on a weekly basis. It takes place after the events of Avengers Endgame, and it depicts S.H.I.E.L.D. agents as well as an FBI liaison, Agent Wu, fan favorite from Ant-Man, are investigating a strange phenomenon taking place in the town of Westfield, New Jersey. Turns out the source of this problem, as far as they've been able to deduce thus far, is it's an illusion being played out by Wanda Maximoff to transform the entire town and its inhabitants into characters in a sitcom. And what's more interesting than that is Vision is part of this, very much alive and playing the game with the rest of it. And Vision, of course, being dead after the events of Endgame. This is odd. So up to a ragtag team of sword agents and Agent Wu. Well, he's kind of so we'll call them sword agents, to get to the bottom of what's going on, why is Wanda doing this, and how did this get started in the first place. And it's a very interesting show. It's set up with an interesting dichotomy where we have a very specific perspective within the hex or the illusion that Wanda's creating. And that's the point of view of these different eras of sitcoms, these different parodies of sitcoms. And then you have, the more familiar perspective that you would see in the MCU films in the camp with sword agents. And it's incredibly captivating. It's 25 to 30 minute episodes, really digestible, super easy to binge. And it's well acted, well written. And there's plenty of juicy lore for the Marvel fans to eat up. And I think at the time of filming, there are 6 episodes. New episode will come out tomorrow, episode 7. And that's pretty much where we're at.
Friday. Yeah, I didn't even know when it came out because I haven't been watching it when
not regularly. No.
Yeah, I just kind of watched it in one big chunk. Matt, I'm curious to how you felt, at least with the first 2 episodes. Like, what were your initial thoughts?
I felt like, I don't know, I felt weird just watching it. It felt like it was just corny, just like watching these black and white shows.
Yeah.
They're campy. They're really campy. Like it's like I like that they went backwards, but at the same time, like everyone's so used to everything being like up to date, modern wise. So it's like it's kind of like hard easing back unless you watch it like black and white movie like shows like all the time, like that kind of time period shows.
Mm-hmm.
I see Connor's face like I disagree with you. Shut up. I don't like this. But you are a VHS player. You are a VHS player, and you watch shit like that all the time.
I mean, that's true, but they had color TV when they invented the VCR, man. I just, I'm saying I can acclimate to retro technology.
No, I mean, I do agree with what Matt said. I mean, when I watched the first 2 episodes, at least the first episode, I remember I told Connor, I was like, yeah, I started to watch it. And you're like, oh, what did you think of it? I was like, yeah, it was kind of dumb, but that being said, once you actually get to the second episode and you see the story progressing, you see what the show is actually about. It's not just a sitcom, there's a lot more going on. Like Connor said in his beautiful synopsis, I can say it better myself with all that going on. Spoilers, by the way. I know we just spoiled the whole show, but
did we really? It's still going.
No, not really. I mean, that was pretty general. That was pretty general. I just told you what it's about.
I mean, but 4 more episodes now.
Yeah, but people watching the show don't even know what it's about when you're starting to watch it.
That's what I love about it. I have so many questions.
That is the beauty of it. So we do have a question from Miss Leah. She wants to know, can you talk about Darcy's role and how she's relevant, especially being from Ant-Man and Thor ? So, Connor, that's something you have to answer.
Oh, sure, yeah.
don't
Darcy's character, Darcy is the character played by Kat Dennings. She wasn't in Ant-Man. Agent Wu was in Ant-Man.
Yeah, Agent. Yeah.
But Kat Dennings is a very relatable character, I think, and I think that's why she's developed such a cult following around the MCU, because it's fans seeing themselves in the Marvel universe and sort of playing it like cool and like kind of awkward, but also like not that I'm shitting my pants from fear standing next to these godlike battles. That's what Kat Dennings brings to the MCU.
I do have to say, she was less annoying than I was expecting from this show. I did not like her in Thor. I didn't see the Thor sequel, so I don't know how much of a part she has in that.
She was only in 2, and she didn't really do a lot.
Okay.
Well, actually, she was in 1 as well. But she wasn't in Ragnarok.
I thought the episode where it focused on her was like the weakest one, in my opinion. I know it was a lot of exposition. It showcased what was actually going on outside of this town, which was, it was much needed episode. But I just, I wasn't really as invested with her character as I am with what's going on with Vision and Wanda, which, it's an episode that was very necessary. So I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I'm just saying out of all episodes, it was my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The thing with her character is that like she became less like annoying. Due to that, like now she's actually a doctor. Like she's a professor now. She has to be like a professional than an idiot intern.
I didn't even know that.
No way. She states that now she's like a doc. She's like now for like a legit for a doctor in her science of her practice of science that she's in. Instead of now being like a stupid intern that she was in Thor, the last 2 Thor movies. She had an intern as an intern in the second movie. That was pretty shitty and stupid.
Oh yeah, whatever. But that's the kind of like hilarity that she brings to like the role. She's like, oh, I'm doing my thing, but I'm also doing your thing, so technically I'm not in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of way I live my life, so I really identify with it.
I have a question. When did they bring in Sword? When was that introduced? I don't recall it getting introduced until now.
Well, Sword is the sister in the comic book. Sword is the sister organization to S.H.I.E.L.D., typically dealing with extraterrestrial threats. Most of their bases are like in orbit. They didn't outwardly say it, but spoilers for Spider-Man: Far From Home. The post-credit scene from Spider-Man: Far From Home features the 2 Skrulls that were posing as Maria Hill and Nick Fury guiding Tony Stark, while it seems Nick Fury was on a ship with a bunch of other Skrulls setting something up. When I saw that scene in theaters, I had one thought alone. That was welcome to Sword. Because that's the most iconic spaceship that Earth agencies and like the Avengers and what have you. Yeah. Sword is the thing. So I think that was what it was first teased, but also by episode 4, they've done a pretty good job of establishing where Sword came from. That it was really born from like post-snap from Thanos to deal with the constant threat of alien attacks.
Well, technically, S.H.I.E.L.D. went down and then Winter Soldier, so it kind of like got fucked up.
Yeah, true. And so if you're a bigger fan, you can break it down even slower over the course of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't want to dive into that mess. It's not a mess. It's just a lot of seasons.
It's a lot. It's a good show. If you liked Arrow, you'll like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I tried Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It felt slow. It just felt slow. Like moving.
All these time shows, you got to power through the first season. You always got to power through the first season.
I tried. I got halfway and I was like,
that's what they said about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. I love Game of Thrones. But that's a tangent we don't have to get into. Anyway.
Yeah, well, what was I going to say? So the episode that actually got me a little more captivated and interested in the story was the second episode. Once they were kind of showcasing color in the universe of the WandaVision.
You got to see the world change real time.
Yeah, so it reminded me of Pleasantville, starring Tobey Maguire, where they get sucked into a 50s sitcom and they basically just screw up the whole society, and they implement
ruin everything by giving them freedom.
Yeah, they implement color and sex and art, which is like it's such a streamline, you know, like that's like way over like taboo, you know, and they just like completely break their universe. So it kind of reminded me of that. I'm sure it was somewhat of a, you know, kind of a nod to that film. But yeah, that's when I was like actually getting interested in the show. I was like, okay, there's something more behind this. It's not just a sitcom, just showcasing, you know, Wanda and Vision going through each decade. There's actually something else going on, which Connor discussed earlier, how she's basically taking over the whole town of, what is it, Westview, New Jersey?
Westview, New Jersey.
So every person, like every extra is like playing a character within the town, and she's basically forcing them to say these lines and portray these characters how they would be portrayed in this kind of sitcom setting, which I find that pretty captivating, pretty interesting, how they're just basically being mind fucked by Wanda.
One way to put it. I would argue Vision did the actual mind fucking with his lightning hand things when he touches people's brains.
Yeah, but he kind of like awakens them. He like brings them back into actual reality.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
you were in a simulation the whole time. Mind fuck. Right?
He's a reverse.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my
god. You're just making shit up, Matt.
All right. Let's
take you back the fuck.
Yeah. All right. Let's abort this analogy.
We're gonna get demonetized. Moving on.
No, one thing that's kind of screws with me with Vision though, is that he dies in the Infinity Wars. Wouldn't you think that he would actually back up his mind like Ultron would do into another like system or unit, and like Vision should have like Jarvis himself back into an AI unit?
Well, it's funny you say that. That's if you go back and rewatch, I think it's episode 3. There's a sword breakdown where they bring oh God, I want to keep calling her Maria Rambeau, but that's her mom's name. The young Rambeau that we're seeing now.
John.
The one that gets like shot out of the force field and like 10
All right.
Okay.
Plugged my headphones by accident. Anyway, what was I talking about?
Are you talking about the girl that gets shot out of the force field of like?
Yes, the one that got sucked in and then blasted out subsequently.
Yeah, that should have basically died.
Yeah, but she didn't, and that was an important note. But anyway, the douchebag leader of Sword let her know said that Wanda stole Vision's body and somehow resurrected him against his last will and testament. He didn't want to be backed up or brought back to life and be used as anyone's living weapon.
Huh. Yeah, it's pretty interesting how she just basically created the matter and like rebuilt him, and I'm more interested in that answer, like how that's going to affect him and how there's that trust between their relationship. Like it's bound to be broken at some point, and how he's going to react to that. You know, he's going to eventually find out that
Wanda and Vision's trust.
Yes.
Yeah. They've had friction before.
Huh?
What
6.
episode you up to? 6?
Seen them all.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, their trust is getting like iffy automatically.
Well, I mean, once it's starting to already take those steps. Once he actually finds out that he died, which he kind of, they kind of.
Katherine Helmond dropped that bomb.
What's it called? At the end of the episode, you see him like getting too close to like the outer rim of the force field, and he starts falling apart to death. And Wanda realizes it because the kid's like, "Oh, Dad's hurt," blah blah, and she just increases the force field.
Yeah, so I think the next episode is going to be kind of revealing that answer to that question, like how is he going to take this information, how he's going to react to Wanda taking control of this whole town, And now we know if he leaves, he will
he'll fall apart.
Be deceased. He would cease to exist. Yeah. So
because he's only alive in Wanda's Westview.
Exactly. Yeah, I applaud that too. You know, that was a good moment.
What was I gonna say? Did you notice like when they go into like the lab that Vision's in? He's in parts.
Yeah, they were taking him apart.
Yeah, so like
it makes me wonder who was the one violating Vision's last will.
True.
Huh? Don't trust Sword.
Including like it's like kind of screwed up if he just try to leave the force field, like the field that he's in, he would fall apart into freaking many pieces and just be like a pile of parts. It's kind of fucked up.
And Wanda can only keep him safe within the hex. That's the extent of those are the limits of her powers, the physical boundaries of them. And without Wanda, he's not alive. He's still dead.
I did enjoy the part. I think it was the second episode where Wanda is getting messages from the outside world from Kat Dennings through the radio, and "Help Me, Wanda" plays by the Beach Boys. I'm a big Beach Boys fan, so I did applaud that.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and you know, "Help Me, Wanda." Obviously, you know, how could you not use that song? You know, within the '60s time frame that they are in. It seemed like they kind of skipped over the '90s. I don't know if anyone else kind of felt
they did
that.
the last episode. That was the intro to Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, but that's 2000s. That's not really the 90s.
That show started in '98.
Yeah.
Oh well, I more see that show as a 2000s era show.
Well,
yeah, because you watched it in the 2000s.
Started rerunning in that time.
Yeah.
No, it was still continuing in the early 2000s.
Hold on a
second.
Hold on
we
a
were
second.
seeing more of the reruns of it.
It started in 2000, guys. You were both wrong. So they skipped the 90s. I just looked it up.
I guess they did skip the 90s.
Yeah.
Well, let's be real. 2010 and 1990 to what am I trying to say? 1990 to 2010 was like all the same culture. You know, nothing changed in 2000.
Yeah, I mean the 90s continued. See, it says, look right here.
Throwing it up to make sure everyone knows.
I
believe you.
Okay, I just wanted the audience to know what I was talking about. Okay,
Vindication.
But I was expecting. You know what I was expecting? I was expecting them to make like what the hell is that Mary-Kate and Ashley show?
Oh, Full House.
Yeah, I was expecting them to do like a Full House.
They didn't do Full House.
Yeah, because especially how there's that connection with what's her name? Olsen. Who plays Wanda?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Olsen. She being a sibling of the Olsen.
I don't think she wants to do that.
Well, that I was kind of expecting like that subtle nod, but and with the twins, I was a little spoiled by Instagram or whatever online. I knew that what's his name? Quicksilver was going to be in the show at some capacity.
Oh, that was such a great reveal.
So I thought the twins were going to be Quicksilver. I thought one of them was going to be the one from the X-Men universe, and then the other one was going to be the one from the Marvel universe. And like since they're rapidly growing, that they'll both like appear at the same time, and they'll be like
that'd be nuts.
Her kids. That's what I was expecting.
That's a thing in like episode 6 because they start saying "kick-ass" a bunch of times.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I did notice that. Yeah. But I don't know. I liked what they did. I like how they brought the better Quicksilver. I haven't seen Age of Ultron. It actually made me curious to see Age of Ultron watching the show because I was interested in how Wanda and Vision came into this universe. Because I still don't know. So I'll have to revisit that.
Well, there was a science project thanks to Hydra.
Yeah.
So
you don't ruin it. No.
Heads up. It's what, 10 years old now? Fucking Christ, man.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, but you can say that about anything. Do you know the ending to Casablanca? Do you know that? That's been out for 60 years.
I'm waiting.
I'm not telling you. I'm
gonna text you in the middle of the night. You'll see what's
because I appreciate fine cinema. No, I don't. That would.
Actually, as much as people hate Age of Ultron, I still like the Age of Ultron movie. I don't have any
better than
sour on it. I'm not pissed off at it. it's just not the best Marvel Avengers movie.
No.
It doesn't
Yeah.
sit top tier, but I will sit there and I'll watch it again.
Yeah. There's a lot of Marvel movies I actually skipped that I have to go back and
Yes, you
watch.
have.
Age of Ultron is actually a really good one to watch if you've already seen like a bunch of other stuff down the line. Because I remember there's a lot of things about it I didn't like the first time through, but actually having seen it again in the greater context of a complete MCU saga, I was like, oh, so they did that because that, and then that's going to become this later on. It makes it a totally different movie.
Yeah, it kind of fills in the gaps. I was starting to watch like the first 10 minutes, and then that's it. That's all I saw. So
You really didn't realize how much. Yeah, you didn't realize how much it was being set up.
Yeah. No, I am curious to see that. I do want to see that, and I want to see Winter Soldier. So those are the two I actually want to see. I haven't seen. I watched half of it.
You haven't finished it, yeah.
Yeah. I just want to restart it and just.
That was my favorite Captain America movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. What I've seen, it was like one of the best MCU movies that out of all the movies I've seen.
Everyone was giving it high praises when it came out initially.
So there's
Connor. I'm gonna try to pronounce this character's name. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always wrong with names when I pronounce them. Mephisto. Yeah. Well, I heard there's a lot of rumors stating that he's actually manipulating all of this throughout the show, and they're saying that that's why the Quicksilver from Fox is in it, and there's other little hints in there. Supposedly the twins are his own little his little objects that he created for her, and he's using them because supposedly
there is a comic book precedent for that. Yes.
There's like a lot of hints, including there's that what's that female character that's like a friend for Wanda that she gets when Vision unlocks her car.
I know you're talking about
in the show.
In the show, yeah.
Oh yeah. What's her face? Katherine Hahn's character, Agnes.
Yeah.
Agnes.
She's a witch that works with him too. And looks like she just gets caught up.
I think you and I have been reading the same forums because I read a very convincing theory that she's a very obscure character that I'm not familiar with, but the evidence that I read was pretty compelling. That maybe she's
like a medallion on her neck that supposedly carries him.
Wears a lot of purple.
Yeah. What? Supposedly the medallion has like a little piece of him that's trapped inside of him, like the Satan character. And then
that'd be very interesting.
Supposedly she lost it in the right between 5 and 6, and she doesn't know where it is. So people are believing that now he's unlocked. Now we're going to see him running amok more in the show than he was. Because she was able to break character in the 4th or 5th episode.
Yeah, when she's like, "Do you want to take that from the top?"
Yeah. So she's a rare thing in the show, actually, to have.
True.
Well, it seems like with this show, since they introduced the Fox Quicksilver, that this is going to be the opening reveal to the mutants within the Marvel Universe. So since that Quicksilver is a mutant, I think this is going to be kind of the branch that kind of binds the two universes together.
If it's going on the route that everyone's talking about, it's not going to. It's until Doctor Strange.
What do they know? Did they write it? Did they write the show?
Yeah, that's true. Dave Filoni's not writing it.
If the rumors are true, that's not going to happen until they have the DC, the Doctor Strange movie or TV series.
I think this is going to be kind of the starting. I think this is the starting point.
Supposedly with that one. So I think that's where they're going to bring in the mutants.
I think this is going to be the starting point to it. I think this is a stepping stone, and then once they get into Doctor Strange, they're just going to go full force. So I think
the Quicksilver in this one's bringing up memories that Wanda does not have in her universe.
It's true.
So that could be a possible thing. But at the same time, people would think that's just just manipulating her through Quicksilver.
Are you talking about Mephisto?
Well, this is.
Is it this guy?
Mephisto.
That's it.
Yes, he's kind of like Satan. I guess Satan is also in the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
Mephisto's just like the next worst demon.
Okay.
But going back to the point you were making earlier, it's already been confirmed that the whole WandaVision series is a prelude, a lead up to Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So everything that's happening here is going to be important to that film, which of course will open up the multiverse a little bit.
Is it
So I
Sam
think-
Raimi directing that movie?
Who directing it?
Sam Raimi? Isn't he directing
I
the
think
new
you're right, yeah.
Doctor Strange?
Is he? I thought he was going to
Yeah.
jump
That's
on
what I
board
heard.
Spider-Man 3.
No, I think he's done with Spider-Man's. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Sam Raimi. So if Sam Raimi is going to be directing it, then I'm expecting a Bruce Campbell cameo at some point.
A cameo.
No,
So
cameo.
Bruce Campbell's going to be cross universe.
Yeah, he's
You know,
gonna be in all of them. Sam Raimi. What is he? Fuck. What is this? What is this? Doctor Strange. I'm pretty sure he's directing it.
Or is he a producer?
Upcoming Doctor Strange. Yeah, it says directed by Sam Raimi.
But didn't they try to claim Bruce Campbell as like some kind of like Marvel character when he was like showing up in all 3 Spider-Man movies?
He's the mayor of New York.
So with that, they were like building it up like he was going to be the Mysterio of that universe, and he was like going to be following Peter Parker throughout, his career, I guess. But they never made that Spider-Man 4. There are some storyboards of like Bruce Campbell in the Mysterio costume. But that movie was never made after Spider-Man 3. I want to see if I could find that Spider-Man 4.
I'd love to see that actually. Bruce Campbell as Mysterio.
Yeah, you guys keep talking while I try to find this.
So the teaser that Disney Plus released this week, teasing episode 7, looks a lot like it's got Modern Family vibes for the actual sitcom atmosphere this time. So now the show is catching up with itself.
Okay.
We do know this is going to be a limited series, so there's probably not going to be more than a season. It'd be awesome if there was, as long as they keep up this energy. But if it has an ultimate end goal that they already see and are headed towards, I can see it just being a 10-episode, maybe 12-episode sort of miniseries.
I can just see it as a 10-episode because that's what they've been doing with like everything.
Disney Plus seems to like that.
Yeah.
Nice compact metric number.
So
Well,
this
is
is.
like, what?
Can you see my screen right now?
No, not yet.
Oh, you can't? Oh, never mind.
No. But the thing is, like, Disney is like doing pretty good with that. They've been telling our directors like write a story that's good enough.
Oh, it's Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, so obviously Mysterio's like they made him really fat in the storyboard.
Yeah.
It's revealed to be.
He looks like
Campbell.
a D&D character.
I think that was going to be the opening of the never made Spider-Man 4. I have to look more into it, but that's really all I know, that Bruce Campbell was going to be Mysterio, which I would love to see. I would have loved that.
We may know now because
Well, Sam Raimi is now attached to the new, Doctor Strange. I almost forgot his name. I haven't seen the first Doctor Strange. I heard it's not. I don't really need to.
you kind of do.
No.
Yeah.
No. The introduction I got of him in Infinity War was like I just understood his character. I'm like, okay, he's magic and he has one of the Infinity Stones. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. I got it.
It's a pretty good insular film.
Yeah, great.
I showed that to Miss Wea, and she needed almost no context.
Yeah, that's true. And she wanted to see that movie. She wanted to see Endgame before that movie, and I made the ultimate decision to not do that. Yeah, you don't do that. So is there any final things we want to say about WandaVision before we move on to our next motion picture?
No, I think
no,
that's
not really.
other than watch it, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not watching it. No, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, for me being like a very casual Marvel fan, I think it's definitely worth your time and investment. Get past the first 2 episodes, and then once the story kind of progresses, that's when the meaty part, the interesting stuff, gets started. You have anything else, Matt?
I have nothing. You guys said it.
Okay.
What do you do?
Great. All right, Matt.
What's up?
I've been very curious for your opinion of this film.
Oh
So I am gonna throw you the reins and have you
no.
Yes.
No. You do this stuff. This is your movie choice, not mine. You do this scenario.
All right, fine.
You know this movie better than me.
You're gonna get the reins. What the hell?
Oh, I'll start right after you do the synopsis. I don't care. You do you.
Okay. Oh, God damn it, Matt. I was so expecting. You ruined my flow.
This was supposed to be your moment.
I don't care.
This was your moment. Okay, so Brazil is a 1985 dystopian science fiction film directed by Terry Gilliam. One of the I don't know how he's associated. I guess he's one of the writers of Monty Python, which basically portrays stars Jonathan Pryce and features Robert De Niro and Bob Hoskins and Ian Holm, which I found out yesterday.
I always know when to spot Ian Holm.
Yeah.
I always see it.
So Sam Lowry is a low-ranking bureaucrat who's trying to find a woman who appears in his dreams throughout the film, doing a mind-numbing job, and at the same time, while he's trying to pursue his dream girl, he is being chased by the local government throughout the film. I mean, that's the basic story. The story is very it's a very basic story, but what you get out of the film,
Connor, not fair, Connor. You don't do that in the comment box.
What did you
Mateo
do?
derailed the whole synopsis just to
my
point
God.
out that I called myself
my
sexy
God.
in the chat.
I'm
Cool.
sorry. I called that.
Okay.
That's all right. That's exactly the reaction I want.
So it's basically a dystopian satire on technology, the bureaucracy, and just capitalism and the global corporatism as well. So it has a lot of underlying themes. The story itself is very basic, but I think all the themes is what makes the story interesting. So Matt, what do you think of Brazil? I've been waiting for you to talk. Before you say anything.
Okay.
I've been waiting to talk about this movie for years. You never watched it.
Josh and Marty wanted me to watch this movie, and I never did because I was like, all right, I'll watch it. Then I put it in the pile of shit I'll watch, and I never went through it all. And then Josh's like, I need Brazil back. I need to send it back so I get another movie from Netflix. So
yeah,
I gave it back. I never seen it.
Yeah.
Recently. So
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there's like 3 different Brazils. So like there's one,
I mean, it's not that creative a title.
No, there's like one I think was like 1950 something. Then there's the 80s, 85 one. Then there's like there was 50s or 60s, but there was the 85. Then there's one like I think in the recent 2000s that just happened. I think in 2018. Mm-hmm. So like I know it's not that one. Then I went to like this Brazil, like jumping between Brazil of like the 1950s or 60s and the 85 one. And I was just with my coworkers, and I think my coworker Maurice is like, I think he's talking about 85. And I'm like, I don't know. Josh likes watching all kinds of movies. But like the way she just like showed me the photo of it, like what's on like the Brazil photo, like if you look it up.
You just knew.
I just knew it was the right one.
Yeah.
So I remember Marty and Josh were like, it's kind of confusing because there's a lot of jumping around, but there's like mostly they stay on a timeline that's like the present time, but they like to jump between like different things, like multiverse.
Yeah, it's like the dream world and reality like kind of merge into one
But
at
the way you
the end of
described it was like time travel in a way. So like if you're going through it,
I think I tried to give you. I tried to say it the least amount of information as possible because I just wanted to get your natural.
That is yes.
So like, I'm going off the information Josh gave me like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm watching it and I'm like, he's in dream world. He's not time travel. But if I wasn't paying attention good enough, I was thinking he'd be in the future because he's flying. Because at one point he becomes a flying like a man bird.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
And
it was so beautiful.
But so what the?
He was presenting all right.
So that's it. Basically, throughout the film, he has these dreams as a flying warrior with these beautiful angel wings, and he encounters this girl, and he just thinks of it. It's just a girl in his dreams, and then he finally sees this girl in his actual boring bureaucrat job, like just one day in the middle of the hallway, and so he tries to pursue her the whole time.
Yeah, it took me a minute to realize as well. It took me a minute to realize as well.
A little bit more of a tomboy than the goddess figure they were showing her off out in the dreams. So she's like more of like a hardworking woman trying to make a freaking living. And
hey,
so
look, man, we all simp to who we simp. I'm not telling you how to live your life.
No, I'm not saying anything bad about it. I liked how they changed up her character than actually having her as the same form of a person in his dreams.
Because the girl in your dreams isn't going to be the same when you meet her IRL.
Yeah, she was more rugged and realistic to the
I love when he's skipping forward more in the movie. I love when he actually gets to meet her, and he hops into the cab of the truck she's driving. And she's like, "You touched me. No one touches me. Get out of my cab." And then all this other shit's happening. She gets a conversation going to calm it down. They get a conversation going. She says, "Oh yeah, lean back. Let me see what you look like leaning back." She sets him up, opens the trigger, the door opens. She double kicks him out the damn door, shuts the door, and she keeps driving.
Fell for the oldest trick in the book.
And I was like, that's great.
This was your introduction. This was both your introductions to this film. Connor and I had the luxury of watching this together.
When did you guys watch it? Because
we just literally yesterday. Literally,
I finished it today. Because I stopped it last week. It's like we postponed, so I said, "All right, we're going to continue watching it today." And just what the hell? Me too. Really, John?
Is that Leah?
No, it's Josh.
Me 4.
Jesus Christ.
So you watched it like half and half. So you like split the
I split it up. But like I still remember all the beginning part of it that I enjoyed. Like was it? I always screw his name up all the time. Robert De Niro. I always say Danny.
Yeah. I said Danny DeVito yesterday, unironic.
I
forgot and then Connor corrected me.
Said Danny DeVito.
And I was like, fuck.
Robert De Niro's character, I love his character so much. I love his character a lot. He's an air conditioning mechanic.
Archibald, what was it?
Tuttle.
Thank you.
Tuttle. Yeah, Harry Tuttle.
I like Tuttles.
Yeah, I love when he just pops in and he's like, "All right, I heard you had like an incident. All right, cool. You had the gun though. He's pointing him like
fixing his AC at gunpoint. That was a great bit.
And he's like undoing the wall, pulls the wall off. All these tubes fall out, and I'm like, this is the shitty. This universe is like the future, but like a half-ass future where like everything looks like what the fuck. So like there's a bunch of tubes fall out of the freaking unit.
Retro futures. I love those.
Yeah, and he's just like he's just going through. He's like, oh, usually you need to fill out a form before you start working on air conditioning units or heating units. You're supposed to
step out your door without filling a form these days.
Yeah, and that's
how Robert De Niro talks.
Do that for him. He's like, we're doing it illegally, and he does the setup. He fixes the freaking thing. Meanwhile, the door knocks and another AC unit heater guys, and that's Bob Hoskins comes.
Oh yeah, what a trade!
And I love his character too because it's so stupid because he's the pencil pusher of the group, And he's just a tough ass too. And the hat he has is like his
the giant
like,
brim.
like a foot.
Yeah. I was still when Connor and I were watching, I was saying this is a more authentic Mario Brothers than the Mario Brothers movie that he started.
He's a future plumber.
Yeah.
I love how Bob Hoskins' character and Robert De Niro's character are basically rivals throughout the movie.
They're like polar opposites, but they never encounter each other.
No, they do. But the thing is, they kind of do, because at the end, Robert De Niro swaps the air tubing with the sewage tubing.
Oh, right, but they never like meet up head to head.
They never go head to head. Well, because if Robert De Niro gets caught, he goes to prison.
Yeah, you get a little lobotomized.
They do butt heads in ways, but they don't notice who's doing it to each other.
Yeah,
a metaphorical butting heads.
Yeah. So in the beginning, they're looking for Harry Tuttle, who's doing, basically messing with the piping system, which is just sending paperwork throughout this whole universe. So, like, if you had a room like any room that we're sitting in, there would be just like pipes and tubings throughout each and every room. So, like, wherever you are, the implementing that the government is just listening to you, and like they just know your every move, which I think it's actually more playing to today than it was in 1985.
More timely than ever.
Mm-hmm. But I do, like you were saying, it seemed like a more retro future, like it was like still like a steampunk future.
They had typewriter keyboards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had a car you lift the hood, like the roof off.
Yeah, exactly. Like micro cars, but they still all look like old Jags because they're English.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert De Niro is one of my favorite parts of this.
He steals the show as Archibald.
Like I say, Robert De Niro and Bob Hoskins' characters are my two favorite characters. Just bullshitting. Like, they're simple, minor characters, but they keep recurring too much.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Much.
I loved like the miniature sets, how fast they looked, and they just like interconnect with the world like so seamlessly that you don't know when the miniatures start and when the actual set ends. It's just very seamless. The only times I noticed any like matting problems, which like basically it was like during one of the dream sequences, the girl of his dreams was like in the sky, and there's an obvious like box around her where the green screen was, so like I could tell where that was. I didn't want to say anything to Connor because I didn't want to reveal. Because Josh
has like predator vision when it comes to like SFX terrors.
You see that green screen?
I didn't want to say anything.
I think it's a superpower though. It's awesome that he can, because I totally miss these things until he points them out.
You ever seen?
I can't notice these things. I wish I could. I
don't want to reveal that. I don't want to ruin the movie. Like, I'll like kind of reveal the seams of the movie because, like, especially this movie, it's like there's such an art style and
I am glad
much going into it
this
that
is where my point's gonna come up. So, have you ever seen like an art exhibit and you got the fancy art people? Josh is one of those fancy art people that like looking at the paintings, like, did you see those strokes? You see this? See how he swirled that in there? Meanwhile, he's moving his own wine glass, and he's like, "Oh yeah, see that?" And that's what Josh does with movies. He likes to examine them 100%, and it's god awful. But I love it. But he ruins things for me. Sometimes.
I want to make sure that what I'm watching is a good film.
I understand, but just let movies happen.
It's good. It's good to see things with a critical lens because then what they're selling to you isn't shit or not. Like it's like what I am receiving, is it actually good for me or is it just garbage? That's
all that
that's
glitters
why
is not gold.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I look at films that way. And obviously everyone's different. Everyone's looking for different things in a film. I was just having a debate about the prequel films with my other friend, and we agreed on the same like topics, like but like just what we're looking in a movie is vastly different. And
it was amazing how you were like both saying the same thing to each other, but you meant totally different things with the same argument.
It wasn't Jesse.
No. Other guy.
Well, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to reveal it on the live broadcast. Okay. But yeah, well, anyway, the point was like I was more of a fan of the original trilogy. He was more a fan of the prequels, and then we're just kind of like mashing there. So it was a very interesting.
Ross's definition of the prequels, and it's all lightsaber throwing around. It's just waving lightsabers.
I actually didn't put that in the argument, but that would have been a good topic to throw in there.
I'm surprised you didn't. That's always your argument with all the prequel setups. Like, and it's mostly more waving the lightsabers than actual the movie.
But my point with Brazil is it's like it's a comedic art piece at the same time. You know, it's like riding the line of being like a Monty Python film, but they're obviously trying to say something more than like a regular, you know, comedic than a regular comedic skit that they would like regularly produce. But I actually got, this is the second time I've seen this movie. I got more out of it this time than I did the first time because like you guys were, you know, you're trying to fill in the connections, you know, like who was the girl that his dreams? Like at first I didn't make that connection that was her, but since I've seen the film before, I was able to look in the world that they were living in and like see the implications of like what they're trying to reveal. I was actually more able to read the propaganda billboards that were in the background. Yeah. And there's a point where Robert De Niro character, he's engulfed with all the paperwork and you don't know if it's dream or real life. And once he's engulfed, I forget what the line is that he keeps saying. We're all in this together, right?
Yes.
So once he's engulfed in all this paperwork, he disappears. And so loudly,
Sam stands up.
Yeah, Sam stands up, and the propaganda poster that's right behind him is "We're all in this together." So like what he's been saying throughout the whole film is just something he just read on a billboard. So it's kind of splits the line of reality and dream in the dream world, and it like kind of seamless. Like at first, you know what is reality and what's like the dream life. And then like, they slowly kind of converse into each other, and then you don't know what is what, you know. And to reveal the ending, him and his dream girl drive out into the sunset and go into greener pastures and
build a tiny house.
Yeah, in a tiny house. And from my memory of first viewing the movie, that was the ending that I remembered, you know? So when I saw it the second time, I was like, oh, fuck, that's not how it ends. You know? So the reveal.
What an awesome secondary reveal.
Yes, he got a lobotomy. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Oh, my God. You know? And it was like almost like.
Get that?
It was almost like I was seeing it's been. Like I said, like when
it's a quick scene right there at the end.
Yeah,
like if you get
really
up to go to the bathroom because you think that's the end, you'll miss it.
Well, it's been years since I first seen this movie. I actually got a lot out of it more the second viewing. I think this is more of a movie I think at least for me, I got more out of it on a second viewing. I think this is a movie that is open to multiple viewings. I think you get more out of it at multiple viewings, you know. It's very layered with like Nazi symbolism and bureaucratic Europe at the same time. It's kind of like meshing those two things.
Don't forget the samurai. There's Japanese shit in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He has to fight a giant samurai. That was
awesome.
Guy.
I was gonna say the whole thing looked like a Sekiro boss fight.
Yeah, didn't you say that's a god from like Japanese lore? Japanese culture?
It reminded me of I don't remember the actual Japanese name for it, but yeah, like demonic suits of armor that seem to be filled only with massive flames instead of bodies. Like that's a thing in like Japanese mythology or cryptology, if you will.
That screwed me up in the movies when he stabs the foot. And I'm like, fire's coming out.
And all the fire shoots out. That was awesome. It's like, he's aimed by the suit.
Then later on, I see him cutting into more, and the fire's coming out. I'm like, oh shit, he's fire. Got it.
He's a daemon.
Yeah. When I was watching it, you know, like, you know, we kind of like put, you know, I was thinking about Nazism, and like we kind of categorize them as just like bad guys, you know, like, oh, they're the bad guys, you know, that's not us, that's them. But like once like that dystopian world became just like all unified and just under one kind of vision, you know, that could be anyone, you know. That's what I was like kind of getting those undertones like in the back of my head. I'm like, you know, that's just what humanity we saw what humanity is capable at its worst, you know, and I want to know what humanity is capable at its best. And like just having that like in the film, like as an undertone, I was just like thinking that the whole time. I was like, oh my God. So like, you know, we're all people, you know, like just separating each other culturally, you know, putting people over there and, you know, in separate categories, that doesn't benefit anything. Just knowing that humanity is capable of those dark, twisted ideals. This movie actually just kind of opened that up. It's like, oh, whoa. And I got like just chills.
It's an interesting allegory, isn't it?
Yeah. It really is. But yeah, this film is just a mind trip. You know, that poster where it's just like his head's fucking exploding. It just like symbolizes the whole movie. Like that's how you're gonna feel throughout the whole thing.
It was really encapsulated very well.
Yeah. I almost wish I was a fly on the wall while Matt was watching this movie because like what was your reaction?
Watching it like a couple hours ago, and I'm like on PlayStation with my friend Billy, and I keep talking. Well, I'm supposed to be playing games with him at the same multitasking, watching at the same time.
How the fuck do you watch movies?
I intend to do this, and I end up picking up more shit when I do this, and it's funny as hell. But I'm like watching. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? Like, why is this happening with this shit? There's the part when the brother comes. Is it the brother? I want to say the brother, and he comes in when he's about to start the lobotomy, and he's wearing.
I think he's like a friend of the mother.
Yeah, they were friends.
Yeah, friend. Jack.
He's wearing the baby mask, and I'm like, why is he wearing baby's mask?
Yeah, well, that's where the dream world and the reality is crossing through, because throughout the whole movie, the demons that he's fighting are wearing that same baby mask. So it's just kind of like that. It's all becoming one thing, you know. They're merging into one linear story at that point. In the beginning, they're obviously separated, and then once the story kind of progresses, the walls close in on each other, and then it just becomes unified into one thing. But like you get that happy ending, right? With Robert De Niro comes in, he storms in, they blow up the fucking
perfect
place
ending
where they're gonna get where he's about to get the lobotomy. The girl of his dreams. They drive off into the sunset, and then the real ending shows up, and that was just like the dream world coming into the limelight like that. Oh, this is not reality. Reality is I got lobotomized, and he didn't have Chief to smother him and throw the fucking water cooler through the window. Like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. He didn't have Chief to smother him with a pillow. Yeah. That's what I was thinking at the end of the movie. I was like, oh damn it, where's Chief when you need him? You know, I guess that was Robert De Niro's character, and he didn't show up in reality.
No, I wouldn't say. Back to the mother. The mother has three kids. She goes through like this plastic surgeries like throughout the movie, and it's like she gets that one like she's like old, and she looks like she's in her 60s, like 70s era, life, and then like she gets pushed into like the 50s, like 40s, 50s look. At the end of the movie, she looks like she's in her 20s. And one part that pisses me off, he's like, mom, like mother, is like, get away, Sam, get away, mother. She's not trying to pay attention to her son at all. She's just looking to get these.
That would fuck me up. Yeah, that would fuck me up.
It's really pissing me off. And I'm like, why? This is just like.
Sounds like it fucked you up.
Well, if you're paying attention, when she becomes younger, that's the same actress who played the girl of his dreams. You know, she was just wearing like a red wig, and I don't think I got that the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, okay, is this that like Freudian thing where people are like sexually attracted to their mothers or something? Yeah, what is it? That's like some specific thing. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird. I don't know if you guys heard of that before or not.
No, they do a lot of movies like what's it called? The Eddie character, not Eddie. Yeah, the Eddie character. I think it's the nerdy one. Eddie like ends up to marry some lady that's just like his mom. So they end up getting the same actress in the new rebooted movies to play the same character, his wife and his mother.
See, so perfect example.
Same deal.
Yeah. No, it's just like I don't know.
No, it's not Eddie. It's a different.
It's some scientific theory that's been run through, and it's just it's pretty weird and out there. And I thought that was like the implication why they made her, the mom. It was just like some like twisted.
That's the one where you fuck your dad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The Freudian slip. That's what they call it.
That's it.
Josh gets that.
It's too revealing.
Too revealing.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. But anyway, yeah. This movie. It's just there's a lot going on, and I wanted to say with the sets too. It reminded me. Especially the city landscape of Metropolis, the 1920s like silent era film, how the sets are built and like the stylized of the future implications of how technology will progress in the future. It had to be highly inspired by that movie. That's actually a movie I do want to see, but silent films are not movies I can watch at night because I'll instantly fall asleep. Yeah. So it has to be in the middle of the day to watch that movie. But it inspired a lot of people like George Lucas with the design of C-3PO. The robot in Metropolis is very reminiscent of C-3PO. But the sets in that film were very, very appealing. And it would definitely like kind of showcase that in this movie as well. And like even like the little subtleties, like you could see like the traffic going by, like in the background. It's not static.
Tubes and like hexagon panels in his wall.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like all the wires and everything like that are installed behind his like walling, behind the walls. It just looked like living organs just like pumping throughout, And I was thinking about it. I was like,
so much machinery.
If like the government just says, this is something that you need in your household to produce electricity, how many people are going to question that? If people don't know how the technology works and they don't know how to really fix it, when are they going to be able to say, oh, this isn't right? If they don't know how it works, they're not going to be able to get those implications like, oh, I'm putting all this shit in my wall and fucking tubing in the ceiling. That's not normal.
Yeah,
but if people just, if that's the norm, you're just going to grow up with that and just accept it. I think Matt
like that sometimes.
I think Matt just farted or something. I don't know.
Oh, I think he pulled a me.
I dropped the headphone.
Yep.
See? They could be listening to you right now. But
it could be Josh, like you said, it could be anyone. It could be anyone.
It could be anyone.
This is not just a headphone.
It's also your mic.
Yeah. I said mostly everything I needed to say about this movie. I don't know if you guys had any little small tidbits or anything you wanted to discuss.
No, yeah, I think you wrapped it up really nicely. I really dug like the authoritarian, satirical nature of the whole thing. I really like the dry English humor, plastered over a really like dark and like sad dystopian future. Like it seems like things should be taken more seriously, but they're always just like, oh, terrible business with all these tubes and terrorists everywhere. But my favorite part was definitely the very end of the movie because, like, and it again goes back to points that you brought up earlier just now, where he wakes up, where it shows Palin and his boss, who's Mr. Eugene, looking over at him and saying, like, I think he was in there too long. And they pull back and walks away, and then it starts playing song Brazil, which is also the namesake of the movie, which, of course, is a song about singing about Brazil as a state of mind rather than a place. And it's a great, it's a great allegory for the whole film you just saw. But it also makes you think, like, how much of that movie was real? Again, like, where was the dream and where was reality?
Yeah, and
like, did he imagine everything we just saw?
I guess that song was written like the 1930s. I was trying to see if that song was written for this film, but I guess it existed before this movie. But I definitely heard this theme of like the song, like at least like parodied in other pieces of media. I can't really recall anything. But once I heard it, I definitely heard that in something else. I don't know where, but it sounded familiar prior to me watching this film. So, Matt, do you have any final thoughts on Brazil?
Oh no, I don't know. In my head, I just keep like imagining his office that he had. And how he had to share a fucking desk.
Oh, right.
In another room. And it's hilarious. I'm like looking at it.
He's just like incompetent.
I'm seeing the table, and the books kept on falling. So I'm like getting closer to my looking at the screen, I'm like watching. I'm like the table's moving. The table's going. It's going into the wall.
Yeah.
And he goes to the other side. The guy's on the other side yanking his freaking that table across the room. And I'm like. So this is kind of fucked up. They don't have enough money in this company for them to actually have their own separate shit.
Or they just don't give a shit. And they have the money.
So it's kind of fun seeing him do it and doing that. And that's a current, that keeps happening, something like that, keeps happening every time he's in the office until he blows up the tube system. And later on in the movie, setting off all the papers flying everywhere when he's trying to escape.
Yeah, it's literally a full desk, shoved through a wall. So, anyone, the person on the opposite side is able to pull it.
The wall was built around this table. That was it.
Yeah.
The implications of that architecture.
Build half the wall, put the table in, now finish it.
I love how the guy on the other side of the wall too was just so incompetent at his job. He's asking him to look up the information on his dream girl. Yeah, exactly. And he's typing one finger at a time, and it takes him literally it feels like hours to get the basic information that he would have found. That he would have got. Sam Lowry would have gotten within a few seconds.
I think he was doing that to piss him off.
No, I think I'm pretty sure he's just incompetent and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
Wouldn't you be pissed if some guy just comes in your room saying, "Can you look this up for me?" Or some shit like that.
But then if I said I'm a computer whiz and I was going
literally typing,
I'd look like an idiot.
That's obviously why he wants him to leave and go into his office, because he doesn't want to look like a moron.
A great fucking jab at office culture.
Yeah, basically trying to showcase it's like a power move, basically. Yeah, exactly. So and then Lowry comes in and he's just like, "Oh, give me this. This is all you found." He just types it out, and within a couple seconds he gets that information and much more.
Remember the secretary that was typing with one hand and doing other things, and she's just writing sentences and shit, and she's writing sentences, and then she's leaving dot 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 for you to fill in the bubbles of every sentence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
she's using one hand
attribute attached to her hand so she could type super
fast.
Quick. Yeah. Yeah, it looked very painful. At first when I was reading the text, it's just I'm in agony, help me. I thought it was just her in a monologue, saying this fucking apparatus is just so painful.
I'm trapped, help me,
But she's basically getting phone calls from police calls, and she's just typing it out what they're saying. So yeah, this movie is a fucking wild ass ride, and the implications that just throughout the film where they're out to dinner, right? He's with his mother, who's a higher, I don't know what her job is. She just has a lot of money, so she's high up in the social scale. That's why he's able to move so far up
promotion because your mother
corporate system. Yeah. and then there's just these terrorist attacks. They just fucking blow up in the middle of this fancy restaurant, and they're just like, and all the gore and like the just how grotesque all these like these fucking bodies they show they show everything, and it's and like I'm like, oh my god, this is awful. Like you as a normal human being with emotion, you know, like you're like, oh, this is terrible, and then every like freaking normal person throughout the society is just like playing it off like there's nothing there, and it's the
keep calm and shine on.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a good, you know, allegory of what society is. You know, you just turn a blind eye to stuff you don't want to see.
He meets up that has the same surgery as the mother. They're getting plastic surgery done.
She just dies
and she have a funeral for her, and then they scooped whatever she had left and put it in the casket. Later on, he ends up knocking that over and just see it just pool. I'm like,
it was like a Jello.
Like, that's gross. That's not okay.
It's not that she blew up. It's that the surgery finally killed her.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was at the point where his dream sequence became like his reality. It just kind of merged into one thing, and that's why it jumped so far ahead and like just a bunch of different scenes. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you realize that, oh, this is all in his head. Like this is not reality. He didn't actually get the girl. He didn't progress in his life. He's fucking brain dead and a vegetable now. So it was just like all these things, like these jump cuts, basically, to where reality is and where it's at, you know. And I like while we were watching the film and like these terrorist attacks were happening, I was hearing sirens going on outside the apartment, and I was like, what the fuck what is this, the movie, or what's going on?
Oh my god.
We live in a city, so that's why we hear these noises. We, you know, oh yeah, I was like, should I turn a blind eye to this stuff too? You know, so just kind of, it made me think a little bit more, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that with movies. I don't want to turn my brain off. I want to turn it on when I'm watching a movie. And then Connor and I started to watch fucking Expendables 2 right immediately.
Why? How did you guys go to
in quite the contrast to the interesting think piece that was 1980 or Brazil.
Yeah.
There was the Expendables, the movie where I think nobody on set was thinking anything at any point.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, this is great," and then we were fast, and then it was just a lot a boring stuff.
Incorrect.
Anyway, all retired action film stars go to die.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Honestly, it's sad. It's just sad. Those.
Yeah,
movies.
It was a total contrast to what we just discussed and what we saw. But we basically skipped through the whole movie and just watched the action scenes. But anyway, yeah, Matt, do you have any final thoughts on Brazil, and would you recommend it? To people?
I would recommend it to people. If my friends that I know, they're actually the ones that like they watch these movies that screw up your brain and like confuses you. Yes, I would tell them, yes, go watch this movie. Expect it to derail sooner than later and without you noticing it. Definitely tell them that and see if they pick it up after they watch it. Give them some questions. Give them homework.
Yeah. So
it is a great movie. It's just it's just a lot. I like the part when he lands as a flying bird angel person, and he moves his arms and the wings are attached to his arms, so the wings are folding with his arm movement.
Yeah, it's just one movement. Yeah, I think they're literally like latched on to his
yeah. It's kind of funny to me. That was not
David Bowie.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. It reminded us of David Bowie with like
very Bowie adjacent.
Yeah. Okay.
Very Bowie adjacent.
Yeah, Connor, would you recommend Brazil, and how do you feel about this film?
Absolutely, 100% recommend Brazil. It's even more topical today than it was in 1985. Sets are amazing. The acting is great. A lot of big names that went on to do amazing things that you're going to recognize if you're a longtime fan of movies and TV. Absolutely wild ride, a lot of fun. Yeah, I give this a solid 9 out of 10.
No, that's a pretty solid recommendation. Obviously, I would recommend it too. I would give it a 9. You know, I think I got more out of it this time than I did obviously the first time.
Yeah,
so
true.
I would say if you don't fully understand it or enjoy it the first time, I would give it another chance. It doesn't have to be immediately after. I'll give it another shot, and I think you'll get a lot more out of it. This is one of those films you see on multiple occasions, and I think you can read into it a lot more. And I certainly did this time. Because I knew what was expected from the plot, so I was able to read on the undertones of what what they're trying to imply throughout the story. So yeah, that's
totally agree.
That's 1985's Brazil, and trying to find this movie. It wasn't too hard to find. I mean, we found it on Amazon. We thought it came with Amazon at first, and then we realized we had to pay money. So, but this movie was definitely worth every dime.
But they're spending $4 so oh my God!
Yeah. We pressed that exactly. We pressed that button. I'm like, oh man, Brazil is closer than we thought.
Yeah, and looking up this movie, obviously you will get the country before the film, so make sure you type in the year it was released, and you'll be
Brazil,
able to find it.
Directed by
Terry Gilliam.
Great director.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it, and I think I can't really put it any better than how Connor closed that statement. So I guess this was the episode. So before we do the closing statement. The closer. I'll say. I'll say.
This is always our problem.
Up and away until next BatYard's finest episode. Then Connor will say, "Becoming Super Friends one episode at a time," and then Matt, your thing.
I'm just Matt.
Yeah.
Me.
No, wait. No, I'm getting this order wrong. I say my thing, then Matt says his thing. Then Connor closes it with Super Friends.
Yeah.
You got that? You got that, guys?
I got it. All
right. 3, 2, 1. This was Josh from BatYard Productions sending you off up and away until next BatYard's finest episode.
And I am Matt. I can't do that.
One time we're gonna get this in one take, and it'll be.
We're
amazing.
never going to.
I think we did it last time. To be honest.
I forget what.
Matt, you said Superman's pal, Matt. And then
Superman's pal. Okay, and I'm Superman's pal.
Yeah. All right. Take 2. 3, 2, 1. Okay. This is Josh from BatYard Productions sending you off up and away until next BatYard's finest episode.
And I am Superman's pal, Matt. Connor.
Becoming Super Friends, one episode at a time. I'm Connor.
I'm Josh.
But I'm Josh.
All right, bye everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now. Bye.